Is this recording? Let's hopefully it is. Let me stop the transcription. Right, so I will share specific details around the abstract, the contents page. Obviously, have an electronic version of that. Introduction, we've done this a number of times. Remember, it's literally putting all your documents together now. Remember, in terms of the introduction, something that grabs attention, something that transitions into your topic, and then give us some sort of reasons behind why we need to do this research. So when we look at the guidelines that they've provided for us for the research project, okay. So you can see that as part of the introduction, and I would have laid it out like that, grab attention, transition into your topic, but also give us a background that what brought us to this particular point, what brought us here, but you would have already done it in your initial submission. So it's just to refine that. Also start referring to the problem at this point, but remember it's also in there, give us the indication of what happens, the roadmap to follow. So your introduction is separate. Sub elements to your introduction will be your rationale, and remember your rationale is the reason. What would happen if we leave this problem alone? Why is it a burning issue? Why is it important for us to research that? Your problem statement, you should have sorted by now. In terms of the problem statement, remember we have the three components, the part A, the part B, the part C. Part B is the most important. It's the deficiency, it's the shortfall, it's the gap. Part A is the ideal, and part C is your intention in terms of this particular research project. For example, adopting a quantitative approach using questionnaires sent to subject matter experts in whatever field. Please remember that this problem statement, if you get A and C and you're not comfortable with it, leave them out. We need to see what the deficiency is. If you don't have a problem, if there's no deficiency, you don't have a reason to do your research. Right, and then your research goal, normally we would say the purpose of this research is to, and then your research questions. If you're doing qualitative, you have an overarching question and your clarifying questions. Those become your research objectives. And then obviously, if you have got quantitative, adopted a quantitative approach, it'll be a single research question. Often, what is the relationship between two elements? And then you will have your hypotheses. From there, it's your literature review. You would have received significant feedback in terms of your literature review. Please do me a favor in terms of this literature review. Please label the themes that came out of your literature review. Do not let us have to guess what the themes are. Please label the themes so that we can clearly see what the themes are. So those are the themes that essentially would have flowed from the journal articles, the textbooks, etc., that you've read. In terms of the literature review, also remember that you normally start with your theoretical framework, the review of literature, and then your conceptualization is included as part of that. Then you go into your research paradigm. Please give us a description of the paradigm, the reason why it is the appropriate paradigm, as well as the ontology, epistemology, axiology. They are all slides in that final set of slides that I've given you. Then you go to research methodology. If you've got an interpretivist design, you will do you will do qualitative research. If you've got a positivist, if you have a positivist paradigm, you will adopt obviously quantitative research and see what goes into the methodology, guys. And then it's just your analysis and your data of data and findings. So this is what you would have got feedback on in this presentation. So the feedback from the presentation needs to be accommodated when you do this analysis. Please look at the examples that I've given you. Please download those examples. Please make sure that if you're doing qualitative, you're looking at qualitative examples. And obviously, if you're doing quantitative, that you're looking at quantitative examples. It's now to slavishly follow what they have. Then your ethical considerations. For me, the best I've seen is Jackie Grant's. Find Jackie Grant's, see how she's laid out her ethical considerations. Talk about limitations, small number of participants. You can see you only done it in a single area. It is not for full degree purposes, it's part degree purposes. And remember, if you're doing quantitative, you'll use those two terms. If you're doing qualitative, you'll use that term. In terms of qualitative, look at the sub elements of trustworthiness as well. And then, yeah, just how well you've edited. And the layout is important. Please look at the examples, guys. All of that is contained here. You can slavishly follow what is in here in terms of what needs to be done. You can slavishly follow. I will provide extra information because we were given new guidelines for the honors on the abstract. I will make sure that I find them and I share those with you. There's absolutely bugger all else I can do, guys, at this point in time. It really is now a culmination of everything else that you've done. Go for it, Shelby.
Hi, sir. Can you hear me?
Yeah, of course.
Okay, awesome. So I wanted to ask, um, if we are allowed to consider outliers, and if there are outliers, can we exclude them in
Oh,
our
oh,
analysis?
I'm a little bit reluctant to exclude outliers. I think they're
Okay.
part of your research. Yeah, it's that old story of you're doing research and your research is proving that only white only white swans visit a particular lake. And
Yeah.
then two black swans visit the lake. What do you shoot them and keep it pure white swan, or do you have to account for it? Of course, you have to
Yeah.
account. Just mention it and discuss it. I mean, it's part of
Okay.
your discussion. Okay.
Okay.
And you
Thank you,
can
sir.
try
So,
and also, if it's somebody that's, yeah, if, you can always explain an outlier away as well.
yeah. So I did a little bit of it, but I didn't go too far
Don't
into
go
it
too deep
because,
because you've got,
yeah.
the majority is what matters here. But we can't
Yes.
exclude the outliers. I'm a little bit reluctant to do that.
Okay. All righty.
Okay. Because it's
Because
manipulating the data. Yeah.
yes, yes. So I've outlined it. I've kind of written it like a story. I said, this data leads to this correlation coefficient. But so this data, so this correlation coefficient, the first one is negative 0.2. And then I removed the outlier. Then I said, okay, this one is a little bit out of the data. Can I, if I exclude it, then the
Yeah.
correlation coefficient becomes positive 0.5. So it's a
I would
major
definitely
difference.
do it that way. I would
Okay,
definitely have both elements and explain the outlier.
okay.
Okay,
And then
because of
include both
because
in
of
my
your small
discussion.
number of respondents, that is going to
Hmm.
be the cause. Leave it in, but explain that the majority excluding this individual.
Okay,
Okay,
that's lovely. Okay, thank you,
the
sir.
way you've done
Oh,
it is perfect, Shelbs. Yeah,
awesome. Thank you. I wanted to also double check because removing outliers with like single variable studies is quite easy. It's an easy calculation, but because there's two variables, it's a little bit more difficult. And research I can find kind of says, from what I can see visually on the scatter plot graph, this one is a little bit outside. So let's say we remove it. And I feel like that's not very trustworthy. So I don't know if you have any kind of literature or actual um
hold
yeah,
on a
reports
second.
on it.
Let me. We
Thank
can
you.
always just look together. Um,
Thank you. Yeah. See, that's all yeah, you like single variable studies.
So there's some stuff. I'm not the biggest fan of Science Direct.
Okay.
Shelves, let me put in here what I found. Also remember we've got this wonderful librarian that helps honors, and she definitely maybe have a look at the data cleaning one as well.
Okay.
Yeah, we're not doing inference. Let's just see what is there, because we're not really. And I suppose at um, at some level, correlation is inferential stats. So have a glance at
Yeah.
these, but
Okay.
don't go overboard. I think just account for it. I would
Okay.
simply just account for it. That's my approach to this.
Okay.
Let's just see. Please don't go too deep into this. Who is your supervisor?
It's
Pod leader.
Ronaldo.
Okay.
Yeah.
So have a glance at these.
Thank you, sir. I will
Okay.
definitely do that.
Sorry, I'm
Thank you.
overloading you now. I'm feeling a little bit
No,
guilty.
don't worry at all. Thank you, sir.
Okay. Okay. Yeah, I don't like the manipulation of data. I would remove it, but tell the people the reason I've
Yes.
removed. That's my approach. There's the same
Explore
one.
both.
Yeah.
I'll
Okay.
definitely include it in my discussion as well. Um, and obviously
Here's a
limitations
good one.
because
Yeah,
my
that's
sample
important.
space is tiny.
Very tiny. Yeah.
Okay,
Have a look at that one as well. Michaela,
perfect.
what would you do in this instance?
So essentially, what I would do is I would try and figure out why we have an outlier. Go backtrack as to why you've potentially got an outlier, and then try and explain as to why this occurrence has happened in the data set. And then going back to explaining that a small sample size is obviously going to skew the statistical analysis.
Mm,
I also wouldn't exclude it because of the manipulation of the data. You're not allowed to exclude data to suit a particular narrative because, again, that's bias in research. But I would start off by trying to figure out why there's an outlier and potentially explain in your discussion the reason for the outlier.
Thanks,
okay.
Michaela. Yeah, and
Thank you,
remember,
Michaela.
your stuff is so unique that your topic is so unique that if you have somebody who doesn't understand what industrial engineering is, it will mess with your data. And I
Yeah.
think that
You
might
could
account for the
also
reason.
Sorry to interject. You could also mention something along the lines of the inability of you having to do a pilot study could have contributed towards the appearance of an outlier. So you wouldn't have basically tested for any issues within the measuring instrument in itself. So that could be an explanation for an outlier.
Okay. Thank you,
Okay.
Michaela. I'll
You've got a
definitely
lot
look
there.
into that.
How did the championships go, Michaela?
Really, really well, Henny. It was
Did you
quite a
win?
condensed week.
Okay.
We
Did you
didn't, well,
win?
I didn't personally win, but South Africa brought back 4 medals, 1 gold, 1 silver, and 2 bronze.
Oh, that's wonderful. Is it on YouTube?
It's not on YouTube. Unfortunately, the media that was responsible for recording everything was a Polish company, and
Oh
they
gosh.
wanted a ridiculous amount of money for the bloody recording. So I was quite
No,
disappointed.
yeah. That's annoying as hell. That's disdainful, actually. That's disdainful. Well, congratulations to you and the team. Gosh, fantastic. Guys,
Thank
anyone
you.
else, any other questions? Please remember the layout here is just follow this blindly. You can't go wrong.
Any quick question?
Hmm.
I didn't see anything about conceptualization of terms,
Oh,
unless
yeah,
I
no, I've
missed it.
got it there. I put it in brackets. So I can't remember why I put it in brackets. So let's just go here. Because it's definitely in my layout. I've got conceptualization and literature review. Yeah, literature review. I've got it under. I've got it under the last part of the literature review.
It's typically there,
It
and
has
it
to be
is
there.
necessary, but yeah, I didn't see anything in the
Yeah.
in the
So
exam.
you'll see I've put it there because it wasn't in, but you have to do it. I don't know why the layout is like that. I would do, remember, your conceptualization of those key definitions that whoever wants to read this has to understand in order to make sense of the document. But you would have
Yes,
done that already. You would have done that already. And I
not
think that's why I put it
necessarily.
in
We haven't
brackets.
done it in the previous submissions. That's why I was a bit
Is it not part of your literature review?
confused. No, we just had to do the theoretical framework and the review of the literature, no
Okay. Can I
conceptualization.
verify that as well?
Yes,
Let me not
please.
throw extra in. That's why it's in brackets. A conceptualization would be definitions of key terms. So you define, you acknowledge the term, you then define it using some sort of academic perspective, and then you contextualize the definition of that term into your research study. So your term would be industrial engineering, and then you would say industrial engineering is the process of using science and improving efficiency within organizations. I know it's a lot more than that, and it's about measurement, etc. In the context of this research, industrial engineering refers to processes that will improve service in a service delivery organization or something. Okay, remember, I'm making it up as I say. So if you've not done conceptualization, and I wonder why, that's why I've got it in brackets. Sorry, Michaela.
No, and then with that, would you want a denotative and a connotative definition in the conceptualization?
Um, I would just denote it and then I would contextualize it.
Okay.
So I would label it, I would give the theory definition, and then I would just bring it into context.
Okay, perfect.
But if they're not asking for this, I'm not so sure.
I haven't
And I
seen it
think
in the
that's
rubric
why it's in bloody
unless
brackets.
I've missed it. But
I will speak
yeah,
to someone tomorrow and sort this out as well. Okay, there will
perfect.
be a couple of messages on the WhatsApp group. Make sure you're on the WhatsApp group. Okay. Anything else, guys? My gosh.
Hi,
Yeah,
Doc.
I'm concerned about this bloody conceptualization now. Hi,
Yeah.
Sanako.
Yes. Yeah. I was going to second that. Please clarify because we haven't
Of
done
course I
it.
will. Of course I will. If it hasn't been done, then it's not necessary because your final report is a culmination of all the other reports. I might have
Yeah.
put it in brackets because, and I can't remember the examples that I've given you because those are from my students, whether they've put it in, and that's why I put it in brackets. Hold on a second. Let me just see for a second here. Let me see if I can find any of those. BCIA degrees online. Let's just take Sarah's or Anthea's, what am I saying? You see, she's put in conceptualization. So page 14. And I think that's why it's there in brackets, but I will verify. I don't want to make new work for you. That's an example of a conceptualization. Okay. The best terms. I would definitely not have put in expectancy theory, but I would have put in job satisfaction. I would have put in manufacturing. Okay. I wouldn't have put in expectancy theory. Can I verify it? If it's not there, just ignore this in brackets thing, guys. Just ignore it. Anything else, guys? Past tense writing only in this part here. So everything remains exactly the same, except when where in your proposal you would have put will do in the future, you'll turn to the past tense. So your research methodology turns to past tense because you would have suggested what you've done. And now when you're finished, you will then obviously just turn that stuff, because it's been complete as a process, to the past tense. So that is there. If you've written your research aim as my research aim will be, but I don't think anyone's done that. You keep the rest of your tenses the same, except where you've referred to something in the future. Please just turn it to the past tense. But it shouldn't really affect you. But if you said the rationale will be, then you need to say the rationale is, or rationale was. So wherever, but this is the chapter that goes past tense, because there's a lot of I intend to there. Okay. Anything else, guys? As an
Thank you, Doc.
aside,
Mm,
it's a pleasure, Sinako. Sorry, I don't even know if I answered your question.
yes, you did.
Oh, dear Lord. Okay.
I'm gonna say
Guys,
thank you so much, just
October is
in
my
case.
horrific month. I hate it. I hate
Uh-huh.
it. I hate it. It kills me every time. It's an absolute pleasure. And thank you so much for guys, because you made my life very easy this semester. And obviously all the accolades go to your pod leaders, because I think they did a fantastic job with very little time. But it was an absolute pleasure helping you guys through this process. I don't know how the other lecturers do it, but I quite like our style where I'm part of your research, although there is this pod leader. I quite like this approach. I don't know how the others do it, and I don't particularly care. Other than that, guys, thank you so much for the semester. I appreciate every single one of you. And if I've not said it, thank you so much for the ratings. I received really, really nice ratings.